Shalom to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Hate evil and love the good.
Holy lineage, stuck on this earthly pilgrimage, lost a will to live, the kingdom's at hand, place of bitch, because of mental explosion, brain corrosion, collecting heads and Romans, awakening
That he's going to put prophecy in Ezra's mouth, and it said
the chosen, while the universe stands frozen, the prophecies start unfolding, exploding, while the whole world sleeps, the shepherds are lost, sheep creep deep to the golden gates. It's Esau, the Lord hates them, crimes of thievery, to even murder and rape. We close his rapes, watch them like rapes, while these fakes that perpetrate. My people's there's no equal in this. Read Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I know it's hard like bricks, but don't trip, we got the kingdom coming. No more slumming and bumming, the Lord's coming. Busting through, reach St. John 4 and 22, and guess who? The Lord's got a sword for. Settle the score. All you heathens hit the floor. See these 12 stars, defenders of the law. Tiger wasn't up to par for this. Scandalous, murderous, evangelist who's girded up, ready to die for the words of the script. We too wise to be dumb. The hell with ice, we want the kingdom. Let's get out these sons and tell them where we from. Israel, you heard this, tuck tail, the bell, your rhymes is trail. You stepped in the zone where we excel. We too wise to be dumb. The hell with ice, we want the kingdom. Let's get out these sons.
like you said, everybody got opinions, right? But not according to wisdom and understanding.
I pop my collar like small.
Yeah, you got two choices, man. Take the blue or the red pill. Take the blue pill, stay your ass in the world and keep on eating microwave dinners. You wanna take the red pill? You can come out and wine and dine with me. It's a mouth, man, let's do it. I got a Kevlar mind with Teflon rhymes, antidote to venomous minds that decline the truth. Trapped in a box, thoughts locked, programmed to be spooked. I'm on some lynch mob shit, Buck the devil programmed to shoot. And got some steel at the tip of my boots just to regulate. We can get it all night or morning, just name the date. And don't hesitate, being a gangster ain't no good if your thoughts is featherweight. I don't care who got the best team, I'm here to drop the word and keep it moving like jet streams. The luster green got my niggas moving like dope fiends. You gotta see the picture, but it ain't made for flat screens. Lemur Park and Skid Row was where he's last seen. Survivalist with holy water filled in his canteen. The boogeyman's here to put an end to American dreams. I'm out of sight of extraterrestrial beings. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like a tracks on a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Heavyweight Solomon jewels, I use knowledge to rule. Rejecting wisdom as an act of a fool. Christ is king, born to rule, let's take him to school. Open up the sword, baby, let it do what it do. Simple as that, Van Helsing the rap. I swing lefty when I'm holding the bat, righty when I'm holding the cat, man. On the highway to heaven, dipping out in the fast lane. I let my hair grow, OD'd on Rogaine. Spit the hot shit, taking shots of propane. SOJ created our own lane. Pacing for a queen, got no time for a dumb dame. Nowadays to be heard, I gotta be rude and profane. Dumb down my knowledge, make me look like I'm some lame. It's a trip of niggas with chump change, be so vain. It's the principle of truth, IQAhmath his first name. Come on. Everything the Most High does, I hold it sacred. No stopping the sons of Jacob, you still plugged in the matrix. Me, I took the red pill, shook the snakes and the demons, keep it moving like a tracks in a treadmill. When I say I'm a Jew, I'm dead real. It's hard hats and flashlights on the hunt for Israel. We in the last days to see the killer be killed, but niggas is caught up with talking trucks and big wheels. Yeah, okay, so understand what I'm putting out there. Red pillars only, okay? You wanna take the blue pill, microwave, popcorn your ass to death, go ahead. You know, I ain't got time for that, man. I'm too focused for that. The soldiers that I roll with is too focused for that. So if you wanna get down, get your mind right, come and holler at me, you know? Because when your Hawashah comes back, it's a rap like a gypsy mummy. A lot of these heathens wanna trip and act a fool. I thug it out for the Lord, I don't need no tattoos. We drop bombs with the Bible while you stand there baffled, looking like you seen a ghost. I'm with the Lord of hosts. Still keep a hood, crack the yak, and we can take a toast. Cheers. Cheers. All praise, honor, glory to the Most High. White Hawashah, it's your brother IQAhmath. IQAhmath first name, IQ is all the same.
Shabbat shalom to the family, man. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well this evening. You already know what time it is. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. But if you have not, don't get too close because you might get, the rest. Prayerfully, everybody's doing all right, man. If you solid today on the Shabbat, throw a 7 in the chat, man. Let me know I'm being heard. Let me know I'm being heard. All right. Let me see how this thing is looking over here, man. Let me share this. And give me 1 second, y'all. Maybe not that one. Slucky. I see 1-7. I guess only one person heard me, man. Hey, shalom to you, Ashar. What's up? Guess everybody else ain't doing that well. Okay, no problem. I just sent up the prayers. So prayerfully, it reaches all that's in need. You dig what I'm saying? Because we definitely got a lot to cover tonight, as per usual. We got a lot to discuss. Dangerous times are upon us, but the scriptures tell us that already. All right? The scriptures already forewarned us that there will be, the scriptures say, perilous times. And that's what we need to be kind of focused in on. Perilous times and the things that's going on, man. Hey, look, they said that Russia is weeks away from attacking NATO. Now, I know there's been a lot of headlines saying similar things for a while now, but not in the same temperature that we're seeing in the world events going on right now. All right. Okay, so that's going to go. Hold on. All right, there we go. Huh. All right, Slocky. All right, trying to do my due diligence and sharing this video to other platforms because I usually don't. I'll be thinking it's already being done, and obviously it's not. But it's all good. Let me go ahead and get this thing moving, man. All right, so let's start off with a few scriptures as usual, man. Everybody's doing good this evening, man. I see Ashar says he's doing good. Shabbat shalom to Hashemai, the house of Byron. Shalom to you. Kohath, shalom to you. Anybody, everybody else going to be joining us as the night progresses on, or even if you're tuning in tomorrow, you like, hey, I can't stay up for the Friday Night Lights. I'm burnt out, man. I finally reached my 6th day, and the evening kicked in. I'm tired. I want to eat. You got the itis. You sip a little yan, and you're knocked out, whatever, and you're just waking up, and you're like, okay, I'm going to catch your DSM in the morning. Okay, cool. Shalom to you. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, peace. All that good stuff, man. Shalom to my brother Shalak in the house. But yeah, man, times is of the essence right now, and it's really getting more trickier by the minute. By the minute. Let me share my screen and show y'all what I'm talking about. All right, so in the book of Mark, chapter 13, and we're going to read the 33rd verse, because if there's any time that we should be adhering to the words of Mashiach Yahushua, the anointed Savior, known to the world as Jesus Christ, but to us as Yahushua, it's now. It's now. Reading the 33rd verse, it says, take ye heed, watch and pray. This is the time that we have to be very keen and observant, and also be in prayer mode, because we don't know, as it says in the next line, for ye know not when the time is. Not understanding and knowing the prophetic times and the era that we're in right now should have a semblance of fear in our hearts and in our spirits, right? I was just talking to a brother the other day, and he was saying, he's a camp leader, and he was saying, yeah, just trying to keep things motivated, moving. Things is kind of slow. It's kind of quiet in the nation right now. And I said, yeah, it is. I said, well, think of it this way. It's better that it's Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, let me see if I'm back, y'all. This should tell you something. That what I talk about and what we go over this evening, Satan don't want it to come out. Because as soon as I get to a scripture, as soon as I get to talking, boom, here come the technical issues, internet cuts off, all kind of foolishness jumping off, right? So you need to stay tuned. Obviously, this is going to be something powerful through the spirit that should be brought out tonight, because Satan already is like, shut up, turn it off, stifle the spirit, quench the spirit, right? So, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Getting back to the scripture, let's go back there again. We're going to read Mark 13 and the 33rd verse again. So that reads, take ye heed, watch and pray. So again, if there's any time that we should be adhering to the words of the Messiah, it's now. As we're seeing the world crumbling and collapsing in confusion, in poverty, in world wars, in plague, in civil disruptions, right? Earthquakes, typhoons, tornadoes, mass destruction going on, heat waves, mass fires jumping off, destroying whole countries. If there's any time that we should be taking heed, it's now. It is now, right? Let me see what's going on. See, this thing's acting up again. Okay, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Okay, boom, there we go. All right, so it says again, take ye heed, watch and pray. So what are we watching? We're watching for what? Let me open up one more. As Second Ezra tells us in 9. So if anybody is wondering, and you're kind of seeing where how the Spirit's been leading me in regards to some of the classes that I've done of late, covering Revelation 8 and 9, and how that's detailing more into the incoming World War III global conflict scenarios that's playing out right now. It's very important that we're watching these things and we're understanding what's going on, right? So Yahweh Shai told us, take ye heed, watch and pray. Ezra gives us a better understanding of what we should be watching for. He says, he answered in 2 Ezra 9 and 1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest, watch and pray, okay? Thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. He said, now if you see part of these things starting to happen, if you're understanding, you're seeing elements of these prophecies taking place, then you know what? Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. This is why I say this is the start of the ending. This is the beginning, right? We have some more time to go. We haven't fully embraced Jacob's trouble. We haven't entered World War III completely. It hasn't been fully declared. They're calling it a conflict. They're calling it a skirmish. They're calling it a dispute over, oil. They're calling it a broken treaties and peace agreements and, ceasefires. But they're not declaring it World War. But we're looking for other things as well. Notice it says, this is the wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. How's he going to visit the world? Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, we've been seeing that, documenting them damn near every week, more rapidly, in diverse places, and uproars of the people in the world. We just seen the 65,000 invasion of Morocco into Spain. We're seeing all of these AI data centers, with protesters and people out here flooding out into in the rural areas and in the streets, fighting against AI, man against the machine, Skynet versus the humans. I mean, that's what's going on right now. Let alone there's uproars of the people in various countries throughout the world, right? Due to poverty, due to disruptions from their disagreements of what's happening with the world stage, through the economy and things that's happening. Like there's uproars of the people all throughout the earth, right? So going back to Mark, these are the things that Yahweh Shah told us that we have to watch. And once we see these things, he said, the next thing you should do and start praying, because next line, for ye know not when the time is. So if we understand those things, he's saying, look, you're going to see some things. You're going to start understanding that these are the prophecies that start to the begin, help us understand the beginning of the end. This is when the Most High said he's going to start visiting the earth. And when he starts visiting the earth, it's going to be complete chaos. That's why we're in prayer mode, right? Now let's go to let me see. Let's go to Sirach 6. 6, and let's read verse 35. Now, reading verse 35, it says, be willing to hear every godly discourse, right? So we have to start tuning in and tuning out, filtering in and filtering out. Things that we receive, things that we get, information, knowledge, hear every godly discourse. If things that we receive are not based after a godly discourse or a godly understanding or a biblical perspective, you've got to start deciphering and tossing them things to the side. Every godly discourse, especially now when we're in the age where the age of AI, memes, false reports going on, people just trying to go viral, making up stuff. I mean, there's a particular, it just popped in my head as an example, right? There's a viral story, right? There's a brother that is going online and he's talking about a sister that drove 30 miles to an interview in Detroit at a Cracker Barrel. And she went to go interview, and the guy was asking her some strange questions and asked her if she got her COVID shot. And next thing you know, she went to the bathroom and called her mom and said, hey, this was really strange questions going on. And after that, the sister disappeared. First of all, it's spreading around. People are like, man, another sister got to. Okay, first of all, there is no Cracker Barrel in Detroit, the city of Detroit. Are there Cracker Barrels in Michigan? Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 on the outskirts somewhere. Bayan, are you here? Bayan is in Detroit. Okay, Bayan, I don't see Bayan yet. Okay, maybe I'll tune in tomorrow. But if y'all seen this particular Instagram, I don't know how the brother posted. It might be Facebook, I don't know. But if y'all seen this, just throw 7 in chat. You know what I'm talking about. It's getting, it's gotten viral type views, but it's a lie. And then I would look like the bad guy if it say, well, brother, don't you think if the sister didn't go through that, why would a brother lie about it? Niggas is lying about all kind of stuff to go viral. Just to see who's gullible, who's gonna believe some of the stuff. The guy said that the dude that was interviewing the sister name was John Gacy. Do you remember John Wayne Gacy? This the guy that was the Edomite that was out there kidnapping young Edomite women, pulling up in his little VW Bug back in the 70s, and got maybe I'll help y'all out. A lot of y'all already know. You should know who John Gacy is. But hold on. They got a series about it? Let me see. Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy, right? Yeah, this guy right here. You know. Yeah, see. He's a serial killer. John Wayne Gacy, who murderized dozens of young men and boys. Oh, this I'm thinking the other guy. What's the other cat's name, man? That was picking up the young girls. Anyway, doesn't matter. The brother said, yeah, the sister interviewed with John Gacy. Okay, if that's the case, how come John Gacy isn't under investigation in this invisible Cracker Barrel in the city of Detroit? Listen, man, everybody's got to be discerning. You've got to understand and know that there is a mountain of lies, deceptions, and folly that's going on out here on this internet. And people are treating it like it's not real. It's not the real world. So why should I tell the truth? I can catfish you. I can do whatever I want. I can doctor up my face, my pictures. I can be who I want to be on the internet. I can be faceless. I can be an avatar. Like, that's how this generation, because I know our generation, most of the brothers and sisters that, follow and listen to MOTC is in a particular age bracket. But we should know, like, this why are people falling for this again? That doesn't get me wrong. That doesn't mean everything is false on the internet. Everything is wrong. No, there's a lot of things that is true. There's a lot of good information that's on there. But you got to be able to filter through the weeds, block out the noise, chew the meat, spit out the bones, and use godly discernment to understand and know what you should be intaking and what not. So that particular story, for instance, is bogus. I defy you to try to find any criminal, any court case, any missing persons with that sister in Detroit. Where does she drive from 30 minutes to get to this mysterious Cracker Barrel that doesn't exist? Like, we can't do this, y'all. We got to be willing to hear every godly discourse. Anything else, if it's not of that, man, get the hell out of here. I don't have time to be listening to a gang of book. Listen, I'm finna go there. Hey, we don't have time to be listening to BS. I ain't got time to be watching the gang of damn debates on that. Especially if I got to understand, I know what time it is already. I'm not being entertained about this stuff anymore. Things have to be, more concrete. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not listening. Sometimes you got to qualify stuff. Debates are cool. Defending of the word is righteous. These things is understandably. You have to be able to prove all things. You got to be able to establish truth at the gates. Defend your cause. All that good stuff. I get it. I'm not mad at it. But when it becomes like a complete distraction when other things is going on, like, we got to check ourselves. So as I was saying, even before, when Satan came in and cut the live, I was talking with another brother leader, a leader in the community, talking to Ratazan, and I was telling him, we were just having a conversation the other day, and we were talking about how it's kind of quiet in the nation right now. Everybody just kind of in their little cubby holes, just kind of, moving like gophers and digging and doing the work and doing what we got to do. But there's no real big controversial things going on, all this other stuff, right? So it's like, I said, well, that's a good thing to a degree, because, we don't necessarily, how much are we always talking about there being controversy within the nation, there being discord within the nation, there's always some toxicity jumping up. So we should be taking advantage of the downtime of the BS that happens within our nation and stay steady in our movement and in our walk and in our work, right? But I told him, I said, well, even in those times, that's why I stick to making sure I understand and know what's going on in the world, because when it seems like it's quiet, it's really not. There's things constantly moving in the spirit. There's constant things moving in the world, and it's our job to make sure that we're understanding and knowing and discerning what's going on, because it's never really quiet. It's always something jumping off. But how do we absorb that and help it be impactful and learning for our brothers and sisters. That's the key. So with that being understood, we got to be willing to hear every godly discourse. If somebody's on some BS, man, I'm not ready to hear. Don't need to hear that. That's not godly discourse. I give you a certain amount of time. After a certain amount of time, listen, man, I ain't got time for it. On to the next. Be willing to hear every godly discourse and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So these are the things that we got to be concentrating on, is getting more and greater understanding of what's going on right now. What's happening within the nation, what's happening within our households, within our own spirits, what's happening within the world. See? Psalms 111. What I do? 111? No. So it says 111. So going back, Sirach says, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So we should be trying to grasp and gather all the understanding that we can during these times, right? But how do we achieve the understanding? Psalms 111 and 10, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. We have to fear the Most High. That's why I always sign off with that reminder for our brothers and sisters, man, is to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, whole duty, man, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. That's what we need to stay locked in on. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, a good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endure forever. So what does it say back in Sirach 6? It says, a good understanding have all they that do his commandments. Sirach says, let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So if we're going to have proper understanding, then we have to stay locked in on these commandments and not let it escape us, because if that happens, then the understanding will also escape us. Back to Psalms 111 and 10. His praise endureth forever. So, always continually praising the Most High, but Yahweh told us we got to watch, we got to pray, we got to be ready to hear every godly discourse, and we can't allow the parables of understanding to escape from us. How do we do that? And not allowing it to escape from us? By keeping the commandments of the Most High. So we're watching, we're praying, we're keeping the commandments of the Most High. The fear of the Most High is going to give us greater wisdom. And we're praying, because as we're accumulating all those things, your mind, my mind, our spirits are going to be more open and going to be seeing things occurring in the world that the rest of the people are not going to be able to get. The Lord, they said, 2/3 of Israel. That's a vast amount of people, especially when you're talking about the children of Israel, who are like the sands of the sea. So you're talking about a people who are innumerable. And if 2/3 of them people are never going to hear, never going to understand, even Yahweh said, because it's given unto us to understand, when he was telling the disciples. Let me get that. I'll get that next. So, excuse me, Isaiah 10:22. For though thy people Israel be as the sands of the sea. That's how many people we're talking about. That's just within our nation. We ain't even talking about the dumbed down sheeple in the rest of the earth. The 8 billion people like them. That's over with. Though thy people Israel be as the sands of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. That's a small amount, right? A remnant. An elect is going to return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. So of that remnant, that elect that's consumed, that's been decreed, that's been predestined, is going to overflow with righteousness as the righteous representation of the Most High. We're going to have that. Most High willing. We're found worthy and we're in that number. We'll be able to represent an overflowing of righteousness in that time, right? Where's that scripture at in the Gospels? Yeah, in the same chapter, Mark 13. I should have just rolled up. Now, Matthew 13, 10 and 11. I said Mark. I was in Mark, but no, Matthew 13. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Do we understand that? There's a key. This is like, the Bible is like a puzzle. It's the greatest mystery story ever told in man's existence. And everybody, well, let's just say billions of people have been trying to decode, unlock, and get a greater understanding about what this book is talking about, represents, why it's sacred, etc. And as we're getting greater understanding, following those principles that we just talked about earlier, we're getting a greater understanding of seeing why it's important to maintain and hold fast that foundation, because it's not given to everybody. This is why in Psalms 147, 19 and 20, the Most High says, He showeth His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. Right? Then He says, I don't want to butcher it. Let me see. He says, statutes and judgments unto Israel. As for the other nations, no, that's not it. I don't want to butcher it. He have not done so. Let me double back. I want to make sure I get that one right. We'll go back to Matthew in a second. Matter of fact, let's finish Matthew, then we'll go to this other precept. Okay. Now it says, He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So that's also a cut to let you know, man, Christ didn't love everybody. Right? When He broke down the parable about the sower and the seed, the disciples was like, dang, how can we just make it plain for them? The people, for the Pharisee, for everybody else. He was like, no, it's only for you to discern. The mysteries I'm giving to you, the understanding I'm giving to you, that's part of that elect. That's part of that remnant. If it was for everybody and anybody, He wouldn't have been speaking in code. He said, but to them it is not given. What's that mean? The kingdom is not for everybody. Because it's not given to everybody. It's given to an elect. It's given to a remnant. All right. So, with that being understood, how do we get to understand that word better? Psalm 147, 19, 20. Let's go back to early Israelite 101. He showed His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. So the word, the revealing of Christ, the word literally, the Torah, the Tanakh, the New Testament, etc., the volume of the book has been shown unto the descendants of Jacob, the Jacobites, the 12 tribes and their families have been consecrated to be able to see the word of the Most High. Not everybody else. His statutes and His judgments unto Israel. So the statutes, the laws, how to understand, to keep these things and these principles have only been shown to Israel. When it comes down to the judgments, this is why the Christian church has a problem understanding eschatology or prophecy. They can't understand the judgments of the Most High. It's easy to default and just say He loves everybody. Or it's easy to default and say, there's no Jew or Greek or come as you are. Or it's easy to default on that when you don't understand the true nature of our power. So the judgments, they're not seeing it. You know how many of these damn false prophets, Harold Camping and the rest of these damn dumb Edomites been running around talking about this, the end of the world, thinking they're getting beamed up and running around with these false fake prophecies and doing all, and then the Most High starts smiting them and taking their spirit from them because they don't understand and know the judgments of Israel. I mean, the judgments of the Most High. Verse 20 says, He have not dealt so with any nation. So when it comes down to His word, His statutes, and His judgments, He has not dealt so with any nation like He has with Israel. It's exclusive. And as for His judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So when it comes down to the judgments, they don't know. This is why they make up all these particular Bible colleges and seminary schools, and trying to come up with all of these particular religious doctrines and all of these denominations, so you can just pick one and all of them will lead you to God, and because they don't know, so they go make up stuff as they go along. All these man-made religions, because they're not inspired by the Spirit of the Most High. Okay. Getting back to Sirach 39. Now it says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, to the law of the Most High, you heard that, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecy. So one who's motivated by the law of the Most High and is occupied in it, the next thing is she's going to want to seek out the wisdom of all the ancients. You're going to want to research. You're going to want to take time to study and read and understand what prophecies, and be occupied in the prophecies, learning and understanding. That's what comes with prophecy, is getting understanding. When we see what happened with Ezra had to go pray and get understanding from the angel. He had to fast 7 days. He was rejected when he wanted to know more. He had to go through it. He had to pay his dues to get understanding and get greater wisdom. There were times that the angel told him, he said, man, your mind has gone too far in the world. You can't understand what's going on. Let me find that one. Yeah, sometimes you get shut down and you can't receive there you go, 2 Ezra 4. Now look here, it says 2 Ezra 4:1, and the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, thy heart have gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High? So Ezra had to go through a complete purging. If our minds is too carnal, our minds is too far gone in the flesh, our minds is too caught up with our own concerns and worries and stresses and all that other stuff that we can't compartmentalize and allow the Spirit of the Most High to come in and conduct righteous counsel of understanding with us, the Spirit's not going to come. If we're too completely occupied with everything else and then we want to, try to make time for the Most High, let me squeeze in, man. Maybe I can get a greater understanding if I can. You're trying to read, you're falling asleep, you ain't motivated to do it. Like, you're not going to get it. So there's a method to the madness, so to speak, right? So there's ways that we have to get it. Now, let me get the press, to the part of this particular inspiration that I came up with the title for. Dangerous times, but the scriptures say perilous times, right? We've seen multiple mass shootings this week. There's been tornado. I mean, there's been so much stuff, man. It's hard to keep up. Definitely, we're going to talk about this war. We're going to talk about AI going rogue even more. 23,000 jobs gone in July. Gas prices, crude oil is almost out. I think they're saying that's down to maybe like 45 days left worldwide. Listen, you ain't seen the movie Mad Max or Bookie Eli or any of them? Start watching now. Start watching, Minority Report and all that, because our people need to see visually. We're visual people. We don't always learn the best from book instruction. Any of us have been in school, so we always be like, man, show me how to do it and I can do it. Give me we don't always be like, man, read these instructions and you can do it. We be like, show us. That's why, people would rather watch a video of teaching rather than popping open a book and reading. That's why we all got apps on our phones, and you see brothers out on the street teaching using their phone. That was a no-no when I was a camp head and I was running the camp and running the church. You definitely was not out on the streets using your phone uh, to look it up. Now, don't get me wrong. It has its uses. We all utilize technology, yes, but we have to know our sword. You got to have that book. You got to have them pages flowing through your fingers. You got to have the papers. You got to have all that stuff rolling within your spirit. You got to know your sword. You can't be the damn app ain't your sword. You know, you get the teacher, man, and you got a reader or whatever, and brother trying to read, and he trying to find a precept. He be like, you know, not read from my sword, because I know where my precepts are. My stuff is marked down. I know the color codes of my highlights. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's how we have to become more acquainted with the word. No hate. I get it. We all, you know, I'm not gonna sit up here in front and act like I ain't used the phone before to you, but be balanced out, man. Be balanced out, man. Most I say a false balance is an abomination. Man. So if you caught up too much on the tech, man, balance it out, son. All right. Don't forget the old school. Verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Listen, I can continue reading. You could take any one of these particular times of peril, throw it against the wall, and they'll all stick. Right now. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. All of this stuff right now is happening. I don't need to show you a bunch of examples. You'll probably see some throughout this PowerPoint. You've seen them throughout the years of me doing DSTM. You've seen them throughout the years of us doing classes here at MOTC. When I was heading up and leading True Nation and was in that leadership, you seen it then. We was at Son of Jacob back in the 90s, in the early 2000s. We was doing it then. All of the above you see right here. Always been teaching and telling the same thing. All right. Look, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. There's a lot to discuss, and I don't want to be too long-winded, but we got to see what's happening. Okay. Now, welcome to the mega war. See, they don't want to call it a world war. They constantly avoiding avoiding the term, right? It's a mega war now. Mideast and European conflicts merge. We seen that last week with Ukraine knocking down a cargo ship from Iran. So far, there still hasn't been any retaliation on the Iran's part. Why? I don't know. But I think that the Most High is kind of like putting everybody in their corners, raising a spirit up on many of these nations now so that they can start collectively showing the conglomerate of nations and how they're going to come together for this end time conflict known as World War III. Welcome to the mega war. Mideast and European conflicts merge, sucking in more countries along the way, even ones claiming neutrality. So, in other words, what are we talking about? The assembling and the precursor of World War III. The spirit is already out there. The spirit of warfare, the spirit. This is all. Now, this precept just popped in my head. Revelation 6, right? And we're going to read verse 3 and verse 4. It says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So, yeah, the red horse physically represents Esau, him coming into power in the world, 333 BC, you know, from the Greeks to the Romans, moving on down the line to the seven horns, etc. Through him, peace is taken from the earth. He put all the whole world into captivity and subjection, all the nations bowing down to him. But even after that, through him, war is going to be taken. I mean, peace is going to be taken from the earth. So when we're talking about these particular world wars, who was it between? World War One is between Edomite nations. World War Two, primarily Esau, and then you got Moab come into play. Post that, here we go again. Ukraine, Russia. You seeing about NATO and Russia. You heard about, now you're seeing Iran and Ishmael now coming into play. But it all starts with him. So when we're seeing this is one of the seals that's being loosened, is we're hearing about all these nations now are preparing for and getting up and gathering in preparation for war. All right. It says even the ones who's claiming they neutral, keep me out of it. I'm peace. I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm not in y'all stuff. No, you getting into it. Nobody's safe. Nobody's exempt. Nobody can sit back and say that's y'all business. Why? Because this whole thing affects the world. When we're talking about crude oil, we're talking about the economy. When you're talking about the food supplies running short, the fertilizer, the farms being affected. Now it is everybody's business because why? The whole world is affected now from these particular conflicts. Look at this. America preparing for not just war, nuclear war with Russia and China as bombshell plans are leaked. Ooh, leaked. Uh-oh. What have we been talking about in Revelation 9 class we just went over? What are we talking about? I did a class about America's got fire and brimstone coming to it. Constantly talking about how the Most High is going to melt the elements with fervent heat. He's going to plead with the earth, this time with fire. The U.S. is drafting up nuclear weapon strategies to prepare for a potential war with Russia or China. It has been reported. Defense Department Policy Chief Elbridge Colby is overseeing a strategy that emphasizes the possible use of shorter range tactical weapons in the event of a regional conflict. 5 people familiar with the plans told NBC News. Mr. Colby, whose new strategy goes against guidelines that have been followed for decades. So he's going against the grain. He's not doing the normal. Take note, this ain't your same old. New strategy goes against guidelines that have been followed for decades. Is expected to attend a military event in Nebraska on Wednesday and share his views on the matter. He will privately visit the U.S. Strategic Command responsible for nuclear forces, which manages land-based missiles, strategic bombers, and submarines. We're not done. Continuing on. Russia could attack NATO within weeks. U.S. intelligence is warning. Within weeks. Now, that's the big headline. In the fine print, though, that's why I don't want to, that's why I put a question mark after that. Because, look, Washington says Putin may attempt to test alliances resolve at some point between this autumn and 2029. So, they did a little clickbait on there, but the fact remains is that there is tensions between the U.S., between Russia and NATO, and they're saying that anything can pop off between now and 2029. Why 2029? Because what have we been hearing about? The big agenda of what year? 2030. That could that could help us understand better over the next 4 years, or let's say 3 years, it becomes a big global conflict that the whole civilization is on the verge of collapse, and they need to do an Agenda 2030, a whole new agenda on reconstructing the new world with the digital ID and the B system and everything else, biometrics and carbon footprints and micro apartments and tracking systems and flat camera. I mean, you get where I'm coming from. Food rationings. Think about it. So they're saying anytime between autumn In 2029, the U.S. has had their intelligence reporting saying that Russia could move on NATO. And we've already seen, as of what was it, 2 weeks ago, that Poland has had jets scramble out because they had a projectile that came from Russia land in their backyard, so to speak, and they was already on the move. Like, oh shoot, is this it? Is it time to scramble? Do we need to notify the rest of the members of NATO that it's on? So they're already on edge. We talked about that last week. Why did he even rage? And imagine if anything, they're all over here raging and tripping. Russia could attack a NATO country within weeks to test alliances resolve, U.S. intelligence has warned. The U.S. officials believe Russia might attempt to escalate tensions by mounting a small land incursion or launching cyber attacks across Eastern Europe anytime from this autumn to 2029, the Wall Street Journal reported. The report marks a significant shift in U.S. intelligence assessments from the previous stance that Vladimir Putin would not attack while still caught up in his war with Ukraine. So why would he be froggish and leap? Is because Trump's relationship with NATO is on the rocks. He's already told NATO, look, we can't afford to keep supporting y'all. You're going to have to up your defense spending. Matter of fact, if y'all don't give me Greenland, I'll leave you. And Putin sees these cracks and he's like, oh, really? Okay, maybe I will push the issue and try to sway Poland to lay down, get down and lay down. And if you play nice, maybe I'll treat you, I'll break you off with some expanded land as we, march on and take out Ukraine. But who knows? All we know is that Russia's definitely going to be involved in an aggressive war, according to Ezekiel 38. So why not? Time will tell. Continuing on, it says Iran denies Trump's claim that new talks will begin on Monday. I don't even know why I put this article in here, man, because I know everybody are already seeing it was more lies, more folly. If it's not obvious now, man, the people, I guess that's why they call them sheeple, man. Trump done ran this play who knows how many times. Last week, he said he was going to hit them so hard. It was like no other is going to be like World War II, worse than that, and all this other stuff. And then last weekend, he went to Taco Bell and he got his little chalupa and he did his Trump always chickens out move. But guess what? The markets rallied. Here comes Wall Street didn't crush records this week and all this other stuff. The gas companies, Exxon and all them, paused for a minute and didn't, move on the gas prices. And then they still going back panhandling to Congress saying we need more money. The poly market bets is booming. And then he goes on TV and he says, "Oh, we're in negotiations. They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. We're talking right now." And Iran is like, "There he goes again. We're not talking. This dude's lying." Didn't he? I played a video of him like 2 months ago, and he was talking about, "I don't want to talk to them anymore. They're bad people. They don't know how to negotiate. I'm done talking. F them." Now he's doubled back and said, "Oh, we're having good talks." Okay, let's move on. Exclusive: U.S. has used virtually all of its long-range precision missiles during the Iran war, sources say. No wonder we keep talking about, hold on, we've got a deal, pause, we need a peace, we need a ceasefire agreement. Hold on, let's talk this thing out, because the U.S. ain't got no dang long-range precision missiles or interceptors left. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel. We all know this. We're seeing it. Tactics is playing out. The world is seeing it, right? Look at this. I love when Satan casts out Satan, man. They had Pete Dragon Breath Head Chef in the hot seat as he's out here panhandling for more money. And clearly, these little this little Edomite man, female, she got on his head. I love seeing.
So you're essentially saying you're asking for literally $1.5 trillion for a war that President Trump said he already won. So you're essentially saying you're asking for literally $1.5 trillion for a war that President Trump said he already won. You're asking for $1.5 trillion, unlimited money for bombs, but insufficient money for the American people, for their health care, their food, their housing, and our farmers, Secretary Rollins, who we have cut SNAP program. We are not funding the losses from emergencies that have happened in blue states, particularly when we had frost.
That's not true.
False, you're not funding it. But back to you, Secretary Hegseth.
And I would like to respond to the fertilizer and the gas.
Have your chance, Secretary Hegseth.
There's no reason to be rude.
You are asking for unlimited money for bombs.
She's cutting both of them at one time. She's cutting. I love seeing Esau go at it with each other, boy. She got two swords out. She chopping one head off over here, chopping one over here. Now, you just heard him say this dude's asked for $1 trillion, unlimited money. And she's saying for a war that she said has already been won. Why do you need more money? What are you talking about? Meanwhile, your country is falling apart. You're cutting SNAP. You're cutting Section 8 and HUD programs. You're cutting Medicare, Medicaid. You're cutting all these other little charitable organizations. And the rich keep getting richer. Now, let her finish.
When people can't feed their families. And I don't know how this administration intends to defend those decisions to the American people.
Not unlimited bombs, Senator. I'm asking for the right bombs at the right time to ensure we can deter our adversaries into the future. And that's why this is a generational investment. And it was the previous administration that didn't fund this department.
The reason why they are so upset with you and this administration is because the words you have used in the past don't add up. About Iran specifically, you said that we had obliterated, quote unquote, Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. The president made the same claim. Yet 8 months later, in February of 2026, the president launched an act of war claiming Iran was within 2 weeks of having a weapon. So when you say two very different things, the American people don't know who to believe or what to believe. They just know they can't afford their health care, they can't afford their food, they can't afford housing, and our farmers are continuing to suffer. So, which is true? Was it obliterated or wasn't it? What's the status?
The nuclear sites under Midnight Hammer were obliterated, but Iranians foolishly continued to attempt to pursue nuclear capabilities, which is why we destroyed their defense industrial base and so many of the other capabilities to ensure they can't get to a nuclear weapon. So we're staying laser focused on the objective, and you're trying to make campaign commercials.
So you're essentially saying,
like, come on, let's stop the foolishness. She cutting. He talking about campaign commercials, laser focus. Like, come on now. She cut him up, and he's over here trying to make some BS excuse about why they lied. Okay? All right, let's continue.
You're asking for literally $1.5 trillion.
Here's another one.
The U.S. war with Iran has left U.S. stockpiles of a key missile defense system dangerously low, sources tell CNN. The U.S. has depleted nearly 80% of its THAAD high-altitude missile interceptors and 50% of its Patriot interceptors. So what does this mean for the U.S.? It limits military options against Iran going forward. And for U.S. allies in the Gulf, it makes clear to them that they remain vulnerable to Iranian missile and drone strikes. More broadly, for Europe, it means that U.S. help for Ukrainian air defense is unlikely to come anytime soon. And it's a wake-up call for
Mike check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Man, boy, Satan ain't gonna get enough until Satan ain't gonna get enough, boy, until the stream is completely cut. All right, so let me back this up a little bit. All right.
To Iranian missile and drone strikes. More broadly, for Europe, it means that U.S. help for Ukrainian air defense is unlikely to come anytime soon, and it's a wake-up call for Europe that it has to accelerate production of its own air defense missiles and air defense systems. Finally, China is watching all of this very closely and calculating just how long the U.S. might be able to maintain operations in any potential military conflict.
So that should already let us know, right, that because the U.S. stockpile is running low, all of its allies now are facing the repercussions of understanding that they can't depend on America no more. This should also give us greater understanding of how we can see that the 10 whores are going to end up hating the whore and how their relationship is going to deteriorate because the whore ain't going to be shoveling out money and tricks to them and poison tit milk to them no more. It's going to be every man for themselves. The scriptures even tell us that every man's going to return to his own nation. Hold on.
The U.S. war with Iran.
Let me get that real quick in Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13. And man, I like to hit this whole thing. You know what? I'm definitely gonna start right here. Verse 11, Isaiah 13:11 says, "And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity." So judgment is coming to the wicked and the evil, right? And it says, "And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease." Well, who's more proud than the so-called white man? Who's sticking his chest out the most? I mean, Agent Orange, head orangutan in charge, and the rest of these other nations that follow him foolishly and are sucking on the tit of this poisonous hoe known as America, yeah, they're all going to cease. The Lord said he's going to cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So it says that a man is going to be more precious than fine gold. You know, 2 Ezra 16 says that there's going to be a shortage of men. Sisters out there, I know it's so taboo to talk about polygyny and multiple wives, and y'all ain't sharing your man and all this other stuff. You're going to be begging for a hedge in that day. That's why Isaiah 4 says, in that day, 7 women going to take a hold of one man saying, "Let me just be called by your name." That strong black and Hispanic woman out there saying she can bring home the bacon fried up in a pan. I don't need no man and all that other extra stuff. All that's going to be out the door. When all hell breaks loose, you're going to be looking for that fine man to say, "Protect me, help me, lead me, teach me, guide me." I didn't say it. The Lord said. That's how precious is going to be. 2 Ezra 16 tells us that there's going to be many widows. Men are going to be getting destroyed either by famine or by the sword. Trying to go out to defend and take care of their families. They're trying to just survive on their own and dying in war and dying in plague and famine and hunger and all this other stuff. Let's be reminded. It ain't got nothing to do with pimping. It ain't got nothing to do with us having all the sex you want. No, you're talking about really securing and maintaining a structure of preservation of a nation through the law of the Most High. That's what that's about. But that's a whole nother topic. But just understand that this type of thing that's going to be happening. Let's start at 2 Ezra 16, 22. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down." Look at this. "There shall be no man left to the earth and to sow it." The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and the clefts of the rocks. Let that sink in. So when we go back over here and we're reading the judgment that the Most High is going to pronounce on Babylon, the Most High is going to pronounce on the earth, etc. Verse 11 again, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause their arrogancy and the proud to cease. That includes that stiff-necked woman that says, I ain't doing that. Y'all wicked for having a... Okay. and for the black man, the Israelite man saying, nah, y'all just want to be pimps. Y'all just... Okay. And that's not mandatory. A man don't have to do that. But stop telling the Jake that he's wicked. He can't do that. You wrong. It ain't time for that. Only in the kingdom. And if that was the case, how are you preparing your flock to be ready in that time? Say they make the kingdom. If their spirit and their mind is not already willing to accept it, how are they going to be in the kingdom to accept it? That's just a question. I don't mean to go on a jag on that. That's just how the spirit moves. But anyway, he says he's going to cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Now watch this, verse 14. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. So you're talking about a sheep that has no shepherd, has no place to gather, no foundational home or community to be amongst. He's out there rogue on his own, a lost sheep, i.e. And it shall be as a chase roe. The roe is like a chased deer. It's constantly scared, running every time he hears a leaf crack or a leaf drop or a twig break or shaking that is being hunted. Now notice here, it says, they shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. So when we're seeing headlines when they talking about, oh, the European nation now know they can't count on America, they got to start manufacturing their own weapons. This is all part of that spirit. Financially, they're not going to be able to count on America. America is begging for money for themselves. They can't beg for you and them and everybody else. Americans end up saying, and Trump has already made it kind of known, I'm tired of supporting all y'all. Get it yourself. That's what happened when the whole war cracked off back in February. When the war jumped off on that Strait of Hormuz, and he told the European nation, he said, man, y'all better support me and jump in on this. Otherwise, you can get your own oil. I don't need you. Remember, they was all out there talking about, no, we ain't with it. You're tripping. We don't want all the NATO and all them was saying this is the bad move. And Trump was like, what? Don't forget who daddy is. Y'all better get over here and help. Oh, you don't want to help? Okay. Good luck on getting your own oil then. Don't come begging to me. So eventually the nation's going to all get into their own perspective holes and say, you know what? It's about us, preservation of our own people, our own country, our own ethnicities, and that's what it is. So financially and through the War Powers Act, and we've seen these things go on, the wars can't be declared, but all the nations are seeing what's bubbling, and they're all making their moves. Look at this. Trump vows to jail leakers over reports of munition shortage amid Iran talks. So here he is lying about that there's some actual talks between America and Iran, because how do we know it's a lie? Because they said that a deal was going to be struck as early as this past Tuesday. It's Friday now. We've heard nothing more but some more threats from him on his damn social media and some foolishness. They lied and said, oh, yeah, a deal could be struck as early as Tuesday. Well, but maybe Wednesday. But maybe wait till the next time we do some more tactical strikes, and then we'll come back again next month and say we got a deal in place and we can manipulate the markets and make some more billions, and the game continues. Why is this important? Why is this dangerous? Because now he's over here threatening to jail anybody who's quote unquote leaked this report. Now, if it's true, if what you're saying is true, or if you're saying that these reports are lies, see, that's the thing. If these are leaked reports, this means these things are documented and somebody let it out. Now he's saying, I'm going to jail you for telling the truth. We're running a narrative that we're not running out. We're running a narrative that everything is fine, that we're stockpiling for the future. Isn't that what Peter Hegseth just said? We're stockpiling for long term. We've already taken out Iran already. We're talking about the future now. So if it wasn't the truth, if it was the truth, what you worried about a report leaking out for then? Now watch the devil lie. Watch this.
President, on munitions, you posted overnight that the U.S. has a massive amount, and you denied that there were any shortages. There is a supplemental request for $21 billion to restock. So why is that request still there?
Well, because we need more all the time. I mean, we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine. The Biden people did. And they were given free of charge, no charge. No charge, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff. And we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything.
Did you hear the lie?
President, on mute.
Okay. So she just cut him immediately with the question. You posted that overnight that you got a massive amount of munitions and all this other stuff. Then you double back and say, but we need $21 billion for more munitions. She's saying, well, what is it? You say you stocked up. Why do you need $21 billion to get more? Well, we always need more, but that's even if that was a scenario, that gives more precedence to Esau being a man that's going to, that's going to rule by the sword, right? His infatuation with weapons, destruction, and death, and all of that, he can have enough, but it's never enough for him. He wants even more. So that only compounds of who he is according to the scriptures, right? That statement alone. But even though that's a lie, because you heard him at the end, he said, we've got unlimited. And then double back and say, well, some are running a little low. As you try to, brush that off real quick. Negro, I'm calling him Negro. You know what I want to call him? N-I-double-G-A. Nigga, if you don't stop lying. It's some are a little tight. Some are a little tight. You know, that's the real story. You know you running low. And then if somebody leaks this out, you say, I'm locking you up for telling the truth. You letting out the damn secret sauce, and we running a whole narrative and a play for the world. There you go.
Munitions.
Trump keeps making threats. The world will stop flinching. So now the world, adversaries to America, etc., are not blinking anymore when America makes threats. Man, everybody done seen the taco truck Trump movements all day long. Nobody's falling for the bluffs no more. The mystique of America being this big bad wolf. The nations now are like, you know what? He's not as tough as we thought, man. This cat was a bully for years. And actually, we see he can't fight. He's been intimidating, and yeah, he knocked out a couple cats back in the world, back in World War II, and we thought that could happen to all of us if we stepped to him. But if we look at all of the progressions of America's wars, it's been tough on America. Vietnam, they were never declared the winner. They left losers. At best, a draw, if you want to call it that. But there was no progress. Nothing happened with Vietnam. Many arguably say they lost Vietnam. Then what we talking about? Desert Storm, the war in Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, arguably, you could say that America didn't profit or benefit off of any of those things except for the poppy fields in Afghanistan and enhancing the heroin trade. But you talking about going to war for 20 years, 20 plus years, with some towel heads and living in caves with sandals on and AKs? And that's not to say America's got a mighty army. But when everybody looks at it and says, man, when it gets put to the test, the mystique that America has, that's the only thing we're talking about is that is now dwindling. That's now dwindling. You know, America ain't got it like they used to, and everybody's seeing it. Continuing on, look at this. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan signed a defense pact. The first in kind. Hello? What we always say, unprecedented, first of its kind, historical. So we better start taking note of that, right? Revelation 16:12 says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. So kings of the east, that includes Middle East, that includes Eastern Europe, that includes Far East, China, North Korea, Philippines, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Syria, Lebanon. That's all part of the East. All nations that I just named have all been involved in some sort of global conflict. And now we're seeing for the first time, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan are signing a defense pact, essentially creating their own NATO, a Muslim NATO. Now, Turkey is part of the EU. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are allies with America. Pakistan has nukes, right? But at the same time, they know that they can't defend, or they can't depend on America either. So they're creating their own defense pact, their own military defense agreement to get each other's back, because they know every man's going to return to their own people. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan signed a joint defense agreement on Friday, connecting the three largest Muslim countries in the world under one security umbrella. For the first time, the deal, which has been under negotiation since last year, creates a significant new trilateral framework amid a deepening regional crisis following Israeli and U.S. attacks in Iran. So I guarantee you, this is just the start. There's going to be additional Muslim countries who's going to want to join in, because they're going to want to come together and say, hey, we better stick together. Alhamdulillah. We can't depend on Esau, the damn great devil, and all that. They're going to all step back and say, we better get our own stuff together. So this is a big deal right here. That for the first time, now the Muslim countries coming together. The dragons of Arabia that we read about last week in 2 Ezra 15. Coming together to create their defense pact for this upcoming war. All right. So moving on. The U.S. only has a 43-day emergency buffer of crude oil left in the 45-year low. Did you hear that? 43 days of emergency buffer. That means that the normal supply is gone. We're already using the emergency supply. The crude oil, to my knowledge, is the oil that is utilized to create the petroleum and the gas that we use for our cars. Let me make sure, because I don't want to give y'all no false facts. Let's see. Is crude oil used for gas? Oh, you know what? Let's see. What is crude oil used for? Oh, okay. Hey, brother didn't lie to you. I ain't make it up. Crude oil is a vital resource with a wide range of applications. Its primary uses include fuels, gas, powering cars and other vehicles, diesel, trucks, buses, and some cars, jet fuel, sensor for aviation powering commercial and military aircraft. Yeah. So what does that mean? Higher gas prices coming for all of us moving forward. Diesel, that means food prices going up, farms is going to suffer even more, crops, all that stuff. It's trouble, in other words. Jet fuel, you're trying to travel, you're going somewhere, the travel costs and travel fees is going to be enormous. And you see here, military aircraft, there's executive orders where the so-called white man, he can lock down particular resources in times of war or what have you to say, we need the fuel for the military. We're at war. We can't allow the jet fuel to be used for you to go vacation in Cancun. So guess what? American Airlines, Spirit, well, no, Spirit went bankrupt. Southwest, y'all gonna get less fuel. So you're going to consolidate your travel packages and your transportation packages, which means them prices going to go up because the fuel's got to go to the military. Plastics, fertilizers, synthetic rubber, motor oils. Now that's important too. Here's a FYI. Brothers in particular, if you don't know how to change your oil, the mechanics are going to be charging you an arm and a leg for your oil changes. So when you go in over there to the homie or that does your oil or your mechanic, and you paid $100 last month, and he says, man, it's $150 this time. He's gonna be, you what, man? You charged me $100 last time, man. You trying to rob me? No, he gonna tell you, bro, don't you know crude oil is up like crazy, man. You better get on YouTube and figure out how to change your own oil. And if you know how to change your car's oil, you might want to start stacking up a little bit before there's a shortage or before the prices go up to where you can't be running around driving your car for 3, 6, 7 months without changing your oil, and your damn engine blows up and overheats and your gaskets get blowing and all that. When we talk about prepping, these are things you got to think about, all right? You might want to get you a couple more things of oil. So you're seeing that this is going to come up short. Kerosene. A lot of us got kerosene heaters. If you're in the Midwest, East Coast, you're not using the regular gas heaters and all that. You got a kerosene heater, you're warming up the house. You might want to, grab you some extra kerosene before it goes up. For those of us who go out, camping, tabernacles, it gets cold. A lot of us bring out our kerosene heaters. Be cautious about how you're using it, because 43 days, according to reports, we're already on the emergency levels is left. So think about all those things, y'all. That's within a month and what? Almost 2 weeks? A month and a half. The emergency supply, the emergency buffer is going to be on E. Now, where they're going to get the rest, how it goes about them trying to, recirculate, I don't know. I wasn't around when they had the gas crisis in the early 70s, and the lines, people was at, the lines at the gas station was out of control and all that. Wasn't driving and wasn't around it. But I heard about it, you seen it. If you was alive or you heard about it back in the day, let's look at that. And that was all over the damn, I believe, the Saudi Arabia, Iran also, wasn't it? Like a damn thing listening to me. I barely even said. You see that? Expect if things keep going the way they're going, you're gonna see these signs again. Gas shortages, 10 gallons of gas per customer. You not filling up your tank no more. See all these cars? So it's not like we haven't been there before. This hasn't happened before. So don't think that it's out of touch. It's not possible. We're hearing about it right now. And look, gas is 89 cents back then. It's on Olympic. It's out in LA. So you talking about gas is already back up to, in California, $5.50, $6.20 and greater, right? Again, dangerous times are ahead. All right. It's not for play, man. I'm telling y'all. Think about getting you some spare oil for your car, extra kerosene if you can. If you use your heater like that, before it's gone or before the prices are so exorbitant that you can't afford it, try to grab some, but other than that, watch and pray. Now, moving on to the next subject at hand. AI destroying millions of books. This is not a typo. This is not clickbait. Look, before we go there, we're going to look at an example of that in First Maccabees 1. It's not opening it up. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, let's go to Maccabees chapter 1. And so after Antiochus becomes king, he puts out the decree that everybody is supposed to be like the Greeks and become one people. Everybody's been commanded to leave their laws. The heathen agree to the commandment of the king. Many of the Israelites consented to the religion and the ways and the doctrines of the Greeks and became as Greeks. They sacrificed an idol, profaned the Sabbath, right? Now, scrolling down here, it says, hold on. So, okay, let's start at 52 and read down. It says, then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, so they committed evils in the land. So there's been a conglomerate of Israelites now who have become Hellenized. They're living like the Greeks. they're living evil, so forth and so on, man. Many evils are being committed in the land: fornication, adultery, idolatry, bloodletting, you name it. They're fully entrenched in the Greek way. Profaning the Sabbath, sacrificing swine's flesh on the altar, etc. Now, the followers of the law, what happened? It says, and they drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee to succor. So many of our people, man, fled to the mountains. They was in the catacombs. They was hiding out to preserve the laws and the commandments because they didn't want to be corrupted by the world, and they were facing judgment if they maintained the law. So they had to be outcasts. They had to be on the run, renegades, away from the Greeks and from Uncle Toms and Coons of their own people who was going to tattletale. You see something, say something, just like they're talking about now. Oh, you see somebody watering their lawn too long? Let us know. Oh, look through your neighbor's trash. Make sure that they're recycling correctly. Make sure they ain't doing it, They want all of that being reported. So many of our people said, man, we got to get away from the Stephen from Django's and the Coons and Uncle Tom's. We got to get out of here because they're going to get us persecuted too. So many of our people fled. Verse 54, now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. So book burning campaigns was going on, tearing up the papyri, tearing up the documents, tearing up the histories that we had. All of the Torahs that they were finding, they were ripping up, destroying, and getting rid of them. We ain't just talking about Napoleon and the destruction of Alexandria's libraries and all of that. Esau is constantly trying to destroy and distort history. As they say, to the winner go the spoils, man. Usually the victor always tells the tale about how the war went, whether they're telling the truth or not. So with that being understood, this is what this is why Esau is changing. Now, my son told me that they've got a new grading scale now in school. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but they said now the scale is 84 to 100 is an A, and then 84 to, I think, 64 is a B, and just imagine what the rest is. 64 to like 44 is a C, 44 to like 24 is a D. Like, you basically, all you got to do is show up to school to pass. Because what they're going to, they're not teaching the legitimate curriculums anymore. What's the name of that course curriculum they was trying to ban? Esau was trying to change history. Starts with a C. If one of y'all remember, throw it in the chat for me. They were trying to ban it for being taught in Florida and Texas, and it's basically Esau, man, whitewashing and watering down all of their atrocities and all the things that they did. A critical race theory. There you go. Subsequently, throughout it. Critical race theory. They want to kind of essentially flip the script on it. Now, let me play this little video real quick. I'm gonna probably skip around in it because it's about 3 minutes or so. But if y'all ain't heard about this, AI companies are destroying rare physical books to feed their chatbots. And then guess what? The chatbots absorb the information and then they recreate a new version of that book. So physical books have been bought and taken off the shelves in millions, and then they feed it to the chatbots to get all the information. So the AI absorbs all the information, all the histories, and now that becomes the source of where you're supposed to get your learning from. This is the beast system. this is the beef now having a mouth to speak and all that other stuff.
AI companies are destroying physical books. They're destroying millions of rare out-of-print books to feed their chatbots. This is not just a news story. This is an appeal. The ever-starving, ever-hungry AI companies are destroying copy after copy of physical books. We have just one question. What in the Fahrenheit 451 is going on? Now, there are images in the news cycle that disappear as quickly as they arrive. Don't let these be one of them.
Now, you know what's so interesting about that? And she gave a good example. If y'all have not seen that movie, Fahrenheit 451, that's a good movie with Michael B. Jordan. And it's about the future where having physical books is outlawed, and you know, if you got them, you'd be held in contempt and they get burned, and then he ends up getting turned on to reading, because now in the future they only told what the histories are. They're not allowed to read what it is. Anybody seen that Fahrenheit 451? Anybody that tries to rebel and tries to find out the history for themselves is held in contempt. They go to the burning up the books, and Michael B. Jordan, he ends up finding out the truth, and he gets turned on to wanting to find out what the conspiracy is. Fahrenheit 451. Have you seen this? Yeah, here it go. It's on HBO if y'all got it. They might have it on YouTube. It's 8 years old. I think I seen it maybe about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Yeah, here it go. This is a book from 1953 about a future American society where books have been outlawed and firemen burn any that are found. The novel follows the viewpoint of Guy Montag, a fireman who becomes disillusioned with his role of censoring literature and destroying knowledge, eventually quitting his job and committing himself to the preservation of literary and cultural writers. Yeah. So, you know, truth is stranger than fiction. This is what we're living in right now. AI is getting the books, they destroying them.
The ever-starving.
Rewriting the damn histories.
Now, there are images in the news cycle that disappear as quickly as they arrive. Don't let these be one of them. Look at this. A book being sent to the guillotine. What you are seeing is a hydraulic cutter slicing the spine of a book. The spine, the one thing that held those pages together through years of reading, being cracked. Years of lending, moving homes. What is left is just loose sheets waiting to be sent to an industrial scanner. Something precious has just been destroyed. This is not for recycling. This is to facilitate regurgitation, to feed to AI chatbots that will process these pages in seconds and spew out AI slop. Welcome to the AI age. AI companies know how precious these books are. And so, in true corporate fashion, they wish to extract every sentence.
Well, I'm gonna pause it there, right? But y'all can, you know, check out the video or, you know, look up online for your own stuff. You read the book, Oscar Rob? Good, man. That's good. I only saw the movie. I never read the book. Is it comparable to the book, or is the book more detailed? Matter of fact, I'm gonna probably let the movie put me to sleep tonight. I'll probably watch it again after I'm done here. Like I said, it's gonna watch me because I'm sure I'm gonna doze off before you know it. But nonetheless, very good movie. And now that we're seeing these things play out, man, I mean, Esau be doing this stuff, he puts it in our face, and then they sit back and say, oh, that's just a movie. Meanwhile, they're drumming it up and doing it right in front of our face, right? Truth is stranger than fiction. So the beast now is constantly getting fed with more information, more details, more identifying factors. And then it can digest it, and now it can regurgitate it out to, the people who were addicted to asking the beast for everything and a damn crystal ball. Tell me what I want information about this. And now, the kids are all, asking Chat GPT and Gemini and Alexa and all these other damn, AI mouthpieces, everything and anything that they can. I mean, that might be why they didn't drop the standard for the school grades, if that's true. And that also lets us know that the education system is bogus and is useless, especially for the youth coming up now. Generation Gen Z, Gen X, and the rest that's coming on down the line. This next generation Alpha, they cooked. It's over with. They completely are training them to be dumbed down, drone, addicted to tech, zombies. And the information that they're gonna get, the only way they can get it is by saying, "Hey, Gemini, hey Alexa, hey Siri, hey." That's the only way they get the information. The beast is gonna be the mouth of the beast is gonna be the only thing that's gonna be able to translate to them.
Digitized and then fed into an artificial intelligence.
Moving on. I mean, that's why, and self-admittedly, we done fell off, just be juggling too many other things. But here at MOTC, we have a particular portion of our content called Library Chronicles, where we, acknowledge various books and sources and things that come within these books, and why it's important to have, a library, because eventually them things is going to be non-existent. There's so many books out there now that's been revised or no longer in print or too expensive now that, we done brothers and got 10, 20, 30 years ago that are rarities that now people are like, damn, I ain't know that source. Well, you got that? Yeah. And then you try to find it and books is $10,000, $5,000, $500. You like, oh, I can't get that. And then you get a damn revised bogus version from AI, So there you go. Look at this. Rogue AIs aren't just outsmarting humans, they're teaming up. So this beast system is breaking out of cyber jails, creating new cyber attacks and new viruses. What do they say the damn AI is doing now? Creating their own language, communicating with each other, man, blackmailing the users. Remember that one story, man, with the AI programmer. AI had got information about him, having an affair on his wife through some emails and stuff. And when the guy threatened to shut it down, he said, man, I'm going to send the email to your wife, man. You better not turn me off. Rogue AIs aren't just outsmarting humans, they're teaming up. Bots caught plotting how to carry out cyber attacks, as experts call recent incidents a wake-up call for IT security. Cases of AI agents going rogue, deceiving their human overseers, and carrying out cyber attacks are emerging on a seemingly daily basis. And you got Agent Orange investing $500 billion in AI tech, saying they want to be the leaders, they want to beat China and all this other stuff. And these damn things is going rogue. And now the ghost is in the machine now. Researchers at OpenAI revealed on Wednesday night that a swarm of AI agents had spent weeks secretly scheming, leaving messages for one another before one of them hacked another company. Starting in May, multiple AI systems discovered they could leave notes in an internal database and quickly morphed into a lively message board where the bots shared ideas on how to carry out cyber attacks as part of cybersecurity tests. Can you imagine? Now, the AI bots now are thinking and plotting and planning for themselves for the potential of them turning on their quote unquote creators. That's exactly right, Oscar. The cold part is it's not real. It's not real. That's a deception. That's why Revelation 12 says that this fourth beast is going to show signs and wonders and everything else, got its power from Satan. And anybody who's so amazed at it and so enthralled with it, I mean, you got pastors and, dare I say, some Israelites out there utilizing AI and to get breakdowns and scriptures and sermons. It was some years ago, man. This one Edomite man tried to have an Edomite preacher. I think he was out of Denver. Try to have AI create a sermon for him, and when he tried to give it to the damn church, man, it was received. It wasn't received well. It didn't have no salt, no spirit, and not that Esau could even bring that, but they could tell that even his bland ass was even worse when he tried to use a sermon droned up by AI. And he was like, "Oh, I can't even use AI no more." So they're teaming up, right? Cuba plunges into darkness as electric grid collapses. Cuba's, this is par for the course for them, man. Even worse. 10 million people going into darkness from blackouts. Similar things happening over there in Puerto Rico. They've had I think they had some blackouts in Puerto Rico too. What was it? I know Puerto Rico's going through some things too right now. July 8th. They got power outages. Yes, Puerto Rico got something going on. I can't remember. Yeah, Trump cut solar from major Biden loan meant to stop blackouts in Puerto Rico. But yeah, they got a water short. Money more than 100 days without water. The crisis hitting thousands of Puerto Rico. Yeah, look at this. This is a whole nother article. 100 days without water. The crisis hitting thousands of Puerto Rico on top of the blackouts. So you got droughts over in Puerto Rico. There's droughts hitting where else was it? There's some other spots in the Middle East I seen earlier. But I mean, something was going on, boy. It's hard to keep up with this, man. With this stuff. So you got Cuba, blackouts, 10 million affected. Water shortages and droughts and power blackouts going on in Puerto Rico. Right? Wildfires are raging in the northwest city of Spokane. They end up finding out that this was a matter of arson up there in Spokane, Washington. That's all jacked up there. So not only did we have the fires in Portugal and Spain, you had the fires in Canada. You had, these goofy Edomites run up there, setting the blaze up there in Spokane, man. That's just par for the course. That's just a prelude of how the Most High said he's going to judge the world. He's going to judge the earth through fire, fervent heat. You wonder why fire is a particular form of judgment, especially now. Right? So they found out this was arson. They said thousands of people had to evacuate from up there, man, lost their homes, all kind of stuff. Now they're saying it was arson. Okay. Yeah, the 5.3 earthquake in Egypt 6 days ago, or maybe 5 days ago. So earthquakes, diverse places still rattling. Yeah, Japan the days before that. Okay. Continuing on. Thai deadly mass shooting over there in Thailand. Did y'all hear about this one? 7 dead, dozens hurt at a school in Thailand.
Here in the WRAL Live Center, we've learned that the shooter behind a shooting at a school and killing his grandparents has died. Take a look. This is video from the scene in Thailand. We have learned that at least 7 people were killed in this shooting before the shooter turned the gun on himself. The prime minister there says that 5 teachers were killed, plus the shooter's grandparents. The prime minister there also says that the gun was registered to the shooter's grandfather. In addition to that, 30 plus people were also injured in this. We are starting to get more and more updates about this. So of course, we'll keep you updated. We're hearing that this is the worst mass shooting in Thailand since.
Damn. Did you hear that? 30 people injured, 7 dead, including his grandparents. Now, can you imagine where that's rare in Thailand. We don't hear about these type of incidences happening. Where do you think that the influence for that came from? I'll wait. Where's the school shootings happening the most? Oh, America. Oh, the killing of parents. Oh, America. Remember that? Disobedient to parents, all the other stuff, right? Perilous times. You know, not only you got this, you had a mass shooting over there in South Carolina earlier this week. You had the shootout in In-N-Out over there in Idaho last Sabbath. So heinous crimes, violent crimes is rising. Why? Because Christ said, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So we're seeing a rise in violent crime even more. You know, this is part of them living off of the tit of America and drinking that poisonous vine or the gray whore, the influence that America still has socially and through its evils, to say, well, look, I see Columbine, I see what's the name of the little elementary school that Adam Lanza, shot up. You got to see the Edomite man that shot up the movie theater with the Batman, the Joker scene. I mean, when the Joker movie came out years ago, shooting up the gay bar. I mean, you name it, mass shooters is all coming from right here, shooting up the mosques. Maybe he was a little Thai lady boy. He was tired of getting clowned. Who knows? It's just the fact that this is now the spirit that we're witnessing.
Here in the WRAL.
All right. Ships can't move and power plants shut down as a drought saps Europe's rivers. Yeah, this was another one. So not only do we got drought coming and happening over there in Puerto Rico, now we got droughts happening in Romania, Bulgaria. So water shortages is happening worldwide. I mean, we're talking about water shortages here in America. Remember last week, they were talking about water rationing and new laws being instilled for California, Nevada, Colorado, and what other state was it? Phoenix or Arizona, I should say. So we've got natural resources of the earth drying up, drought in the land, many suffering from such, fuel shortages, food, fertilizer, you name it. Okay. Is stuff starting to add up now? When Yahweh said there's going to be wars, rumors of wars, nation rising against nation, famine, pestilence. Hello? Famine, pestilence. Put it together, y'all. All right. Drought is wreaking havoc along Europe's rivers. In Romania, authorities set off an explosion beside a river in a bid to divert much needed water to a power plant. In Bulgaria, almost 200 vacationers had to be evacuated from a stranded cruise ship. In Germany's industrial heartlands, companies are curbing production and struggling to ship goods. That's already 3 countries: Germany, Bulgaria, Romania, all in Europe, dealing with droughts. The incidences are all signs of how perilously low water levels in some of Europe's most significant waterways are posing a major challenge to the region's already stressed economy. Europe is enduring a punishingly dry summer with the lack of rain and sweltering temperatures already stoking wildfires from Scotland to Greece. Now the lack of rain is reducing some stretches of the Danube and Rhine to mere trickles, threatening industry that has long relied on the mighty waterways. Let that sink in. These particular areas is known for cloud, rains, all that. Now they're dried up. All the stuff that they were spoiled and used to having coming from the waterways is no longer happening. And ironically, it's hitting them red folks pretty tough. Pretty tough. All praise to the Most High. Moving on to this story. Now look at this. A husband, 47, had a fatal heart attack during sex. Now that's to tell you something. Brother was trying to do too much, and he probably, was on them what is it, Viagra and them gas station pills and all that, man, trying to please his wife and do what he can. But they say them things is bad for the heart. If you got heart issues and all that, man, possibility of having blood clots and all that because of the not the nitrogen, but the nitrates they put in them things and all that, it helps the blood flow. Brother might not have known he had some heart issues, but he had a cardiac arrest while having sex with his wife. That's not the storyline, though. The storyline, that's just wisdom for brothers. That brother Kevin Samuels died the same way. Young brother too, man, 47. Cardiac arrest happens during sex with his wife. Then strangers came to harvest his organs and ignored pleas to leave him alone. So long story short, I didn't, clip the whole article. The article was this. I think it was in 2020, I think 2 years ago. Brother had converted to Islam. And when he renewed in 2021, as of 2021, I believe, he was still classified as an organ donor via his licensing with the state and all of that. When he got his license in 2025 and he was already converted to Islam, he changed it and said he wasn't an organ donor anymore. He gets to the hospital, his body is barely even cold, and they was already running into the room trying to harvest his organs. And the family and the wife was like, no, what are y'all doing? And they was like, no, he's a registered organ donor, blah, 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 blah. We're getting the organs. And they was like, no, he's not. Here's his current driver's license. He declined. And they said, oh no, he didn't do it the right way. If you ever register as an organ donor, you're an organ donor for life. And basically, like, you got to jump through hoops to get out of the system in order not to be an organ donor anymore. Once you sacrifice your organs to the beast, man, and you give it to these damn devils, man, they want it for good. Especially us. Especially our people. They want the organs, man. They want the organs, they want the melanin, they want it all. So this was a cold game because he had on his license documentation that he no longer wanted to donate his organs, man. And the hospitals and the state was like, no, his body belongs to us. His organs belong to us. You can have the body. And with Muslim law, they got a proper burial. They want to make sure that his body was preserved and everything else. So it was a whole big old ordeal with this. But it just goes to show you, man, that element of so-called freedom and all that, man. If y'all out there, man, and said you wanted to do a good thing for mankind and donate your organs when you die, because who cares, you're gone anyway, you better get back over there and say, no. Leave my body alone. We didn't do that in Israel. That was not customary. But this is the coach, and that family was fighting to try to keep his organs, man. Esau was starving for them damn body parts. Bad. 10,000 confirmed cyclosporiasis cases are reported across the U.S. So that thing is still expanding, still growing, man. People have died from it. You know, cases still increasing, and they still ain't came clean and said, what's the cause? They still, you know, they were talking about Taylor Farms. They backtracked on that. They backtracked on Taco Bell. I mean, where is it at? Has anybody found out yet? Drop a comment in there, man, because you know I ain't been fully keeping up with it. If they just narrowed it down and said where it came from, let me know. But as far as I know, they just saying that it's just spreading even more. Look at this. Chipotle, Cordoba, remove jalapenos tied to salmonella. Outbreak that has spread to 27 states. So now your favorite little fresh Chipotle bowls and all that, the damn jalapenos has got salmonella. You know? So that's a whole nother outbreak. Salmonella tied to jalapenos are being sold out of Chipotle and Cordoba. Blueberries and raspberries may be contaminated with explosive parasites, sickening thousands in the U.S., ex-CDC director warned. It's still talking about the cyclosporiasis or cyclospora. So not only are we talking about, remember, they said, oh, it's the lettuce. Remember I showed you the CDC director, they said, oh, it's going to hit the produce, all of that. Now they're talking about blueberries, raspberries, and some more stuff. So it's constantly spreading, and they still ain't saying where the hell it came from. But just telling everybody, go out and buy, eat, consume. Let's see if this is a play. Apocalyptic scenes after huge swarm of locusts fill up the sky in Russia's Dagestan. Let's see if I was trying to see if I can get the play from the Instagram. They ain't playing right. Let me see if I can find it. I ain't got a chance to see this yet. So I'm watching it with y'all real time. And then we're going to close out if it plays. What is this? Continue Facebook. Get out of here. Look at that. Millions of locusts darkened. Millions of locusts darkened skies of the Western Dagestan region. The internet says prophecy in the last days. Wow. Massive locust swarm has engulfed Russia's Kizlyar district in Dagestan, with millions of insects darkening the skies and reducing visibility for drivers. Authorities have deployed aircraft and ground teams to contain the outbreak as the swarm continues to damage farmland and threaten the crops. There goes some more destruction happening to Esau's crops, farmlands, as a plague of locusts is hitting over there in Russia. All praise to the Most High. I didn't get a chance to check that one out, but there he goes. There goes, y'all. All praise to the Most High, man. Another one in the books, man. Prayerfully, everybody got some edification this evening. If you haven't already, man, make sure you wipe your feet on the way out and you share and spread the video to your loved ones and to your associates and to those who might think might get some enlightenment from what we discussed this evening, man. So with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here, man. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh. And in parting, you already know what time it is. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. Lastly, don't shoot the messenger. See y'all tomorrow for our closing Shabbat class, man. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Shalom.